Right now, somewhere out there, someone is thinking about you in a way they can no longer keep quiet. And deep down, dear one, some small part of you already feels it. That is why you are here, reading these words at this exact moment. This is not an accident. Before we go further, do something simple. If these words feel like they are landing softly in your heart, type, "I feel it" below. Let this message know it has found you. It only takes a second, and it helps this energy settle in and become real for you. Dear one, what I am about to share is not small talk. It is something that has been building quietly for a long time, underneath the surface of everyday life. Someone close to your heart has reached a point where staying silent is no longer possible. Not because of drama, not because of doubt, because their heart is asking, gently and firmly, for a change. For a while now, this person has been trying to carry on as if nothing was happening, trying to force their days into a shape that no longer fits. But something has shifted. What was once easy to push aside has come fully into the light, and there is no more room to look away from it. Denying a true feeling never makes it disappear. It only lets it grow heavier. The love this person carries for you has been pushed down so long that it has reached its limit. Life has been sending little signs, nudging them, speeding up the days, until everything became too clear to ignore. In their body, their mind, the small quiet moments of an ordinary day, they have felt it. You are not something that can be left for later. You are not a background detail in their life. You are the center of it. And once someone truly understands that, there is no more pretending everything is fine. What this person feels now does not fit quietly inside them anymore. It is a mix of urgency and the simple truth that time keeps moving whether we are ready or not. Old thoughts, old fears, decisions that once felt far away, are all sitting on the table now, asking to be faced. Dear soul, pause for a moment. Welcome to the Angel's Message for You original channel. Please check the channel name carefully. It's Angel's Message for You. This is our only official channel. Beware of copycat and fake channels. Stay connected to the original source to receive authentic angel messages and true blessings. Before we begin, a heartfelt thank you to Stephen, Ardencia, and Trinidad for sowing a seed for Soulmate through your Ko-Fi super thanks. May this seed return to you multiplied with soulmate blessings, divine protection, love, well-being, and abundance. May the angels guide and watch over you every step of your journey. Thank you for your beautiful support. Let's know what angels want us to know. This person no longer wants a love that stays lukewarm, one that never quite moves forward, one that only lives in daydreams. They can feel how much this in-between place has drained the light out of both of you. And even though the choice ahead may bring discomfort, they understand now that staying still would hurt far more. There is no more room to wait for the perfect moment, dear one, because the right moment is simply the moment the heart cannot hold back any longer. This person wants to stop imagining what things could be like with you and start living it, because you were never just a beautiful thought to them. They are feeling this with their whole body now, pushed forward by something deeper than impulse. It is need, the need to not let something rare and precious slip through their fingers. This person now understands that some things matter more than staying comfortable. What you awaken in them is one of those things. They have realized, slowly and honestly, that keeping you at a distance never gave them peace. It only left an empty space that no distraction could fill. Even while trying to move on, something inside kept quietly reminding them of what they were choosing to set aside. That quiet reminder has grown into something they can no longer carry alone. This feeling was never meant to be pushed into a corner. It was meant to be lived out loud. And little by little, the courage to do that is getting closer. Even if it feels shaky, even if the ground trembles for a moment, dear one, hear this clearly. When a heart finally speaks up like this, it is never without reason. This person understands that love like this cannot stay trapped between fear and doubt forever. The time has come to face it honestly, because life does not pause and wait patiently in the background. It is as if life itself wrote out a clear message. Either this person steps forward now, or risks missing a kind of love that may never come around again in quite the same way. That feeling has been sitting heavy on their chest, taking away easy sleep, quietly reshuffling their priorities. Because when someone realizes the one who makes their heart beat stronger might slip away, something inside them shifts. And that shift is happening right now. You were never meant to wait around forever, dear one. You were never meant to always be the understanding one, the patient one, the one who accepts everything quietly. This person finally understands that about you. You are not meant to be squeezed into the leftover moments of a busy day. You deserve to be at the center of the decision. And that is exactly why what they are preparing now comes from a place of honesty. None of this is simple, and that is okay. What is real rarely is. This is not about finding the easiest way forward. It is about facing the path that demands courage, the one quietly shouting from somewhere deep inside their chest. They can no longer live as though you are anything less than what matters most. And once that truth becomes impossible to ignore, either something is done about it, or the ache of never trying becomes permanent. Dear one, this person has been trying to stay strong for far longer than can be explained. They tried keeping life feeling normal, filling their days with other things, keeping their mind busy. None of it truly worked. The more time passed, the stronger the feeling grew that something essential was missing. Their thoughts have been racing. Their chest has felt heavy. Their body has started to show it too. Low energy, restless nights, a kind of unsettled feeling that shows up from nowhere. This is not a passing phase. It is the heart asking for a real shift. This person tried to convince themselves everything was fine, that they could keep this feeling tucked away, but their heart simply grew tired of pretending. There is no more holding up that disguise. This person has stopped making excuses and started admitting, honestly, that moving forward without doing something real is no longer possible for them. When a feeling grows this strong, it either finds its way into action, or it quietly turns into pain that stays. This person has felt worn down by holding so much in, tired of waiting for a change that keeps failing to arrive. That happens when the heart is calling out and nobody seems to be listening, when the soul asks for movement and only gets more delay in return. What is happening now is a real turning point. The sense of urgency inside them has grown stronger than any fear holding them back, because this love was never ordinary. It always carried depth. This person needs to release what they are feeling, to finally turn into something real what has always felt so clear deep in their heart. This is the kind of feeling that refuses to fade, even after being pushed aside for so long. And this love does not want to be pushed away anymore. It wants to be lived fully. This person knows every day left unlived is a small loss, and that awareness keeps pressing on them. They know they have reached their own limit, that pretending it is manageable only stretches a pain that has nowhere left to go. This pain is being created, quietly, every day, by a decision that still has not been made. And now it has to be made because this feeling keeps pressing against their chest, asking to finally be let through. If that request keeps being ignored, what follows is regret. And the weight of that truth is exactly what is giving them the strength to finally act. What is coming is not about running from anything. It is about facing everything, the courage to step outside the comfort zone and look honestly at the one truth that has always made sense. You matter to them in a way that is hard to put into simple words. Letting that slip away quietly is something they can no longer live with. From here forward, something has to change. This person is not waiting for every single thing around them to feel perfect before making a move. They are choosing to move because they finally understand the real issue was never about outside circumstances. It has always been something inside them, tied to a feeling that no longer fits neatly inside their thoughts alone. Everything around this person has started reflecting this shift too. Situations they once tolerated now feel irritating. Plans that once made sense now feel pointless. Everything has lost a little shine, because their heart has been somewhere else this whole time. And that somewhere else has a name. From this point forward, either this feeling turns into action, or it turns into pain that keeps building. There is no more space left for excuses. Their heart has already decided. All that is missing now is the courage to follow through. Dear one, nothing feels quite as uncomfortable as finally standing face to face with a truth you have been avoiding. There is no more pretending life can carry on the way it has been. This truth arrived almost suddenly, like someone knocking firmly on a door without waiting to be let in. And when truth shows up like that, there is no more space left for excuses. What was once postponed quietly has become an urgent, pressing feeling. This person is finding themselves with no easy way to release this feeling, not because anyone forced this on them, but because the feeling itself has grown too strong to keep managing quietly. Reality has simply exposed what has been true for a long time. There is no way to keep living as though this love is something secondary, no way to plan out ordinary days without noticing the quiet emptiness your absence leaves behind. This person understands now that holding back real feelings always comes with a cost, and one of those costs is the exhaustion they are living through right now. This person tried carrying this quietly, alone, without saying a word to anyone. But they have reached the point where avoiding it any longer is simply not possible. Now it comes down to one simple choice. Take action or keep quietly hurting every day. The desire to finally take a step forward is not just a passing wish. It has become an urgent need, a need to finally pull this love out of the place it has been trapped in for so long. What feels strongest of all is that this clarity arrived without leaving room for doubt. It came as a sudden, quiet click of recognition, an inner confirmation. What once felt confusing has lined up into a clear, straight path, with you standing right at the center of it. This person could no longer look away from the picture of what the two of you could be living right now, together. That vision moved something deep inside them, shook things loose, and pushed them to face their own path honestly. This pressure built slowly, over days of quiet dissatisfaction, over feelings that were swallowed down again and again for far too long. But there is simply no more space left to hold that in. Now their heart wants to move. It wants direction. It wants to leave behind anything that only exists as a distraction. Because the simple truth underneath it all is this: you are missed, and that changes everything. This person has reached a breaking point. The understanding that you matter this much has become so strong that other certainties in their life feel less important by comparison. And right now, the only real plan that makes sense is to change what needs to change, because staying exactly as things are has already proven, again and again, that it cannot hold. Changing means having the courage to face what hurts, to look honestly at inner blocks, fears, and old excuses. Clarity has arrived, and along with it, a real sense of urgency. There is no way to keep the heart frozen in one place and simply hope things change on their own. Real change only happens when a decision is finally made, and that decision is quietly forming right now, in the middle of a storm of thoughts that keep reminding them exactly what is at stake. The chance to live out a love that does not come around twice in quite the same way. Dear soul, before we continue, I'd like to invite you to do something truly meaningful for your soulmate journey. The bond between soulmates is precious, and at times, it can feel vulnerable to negativity, envy, or the evil eye from the world around us, even when no harm is intended. If your heart is calling you to cover this connection with an extra layer of love, faith, and protection, you can sow your seed for your soulmate through Ko-Fi Super Thanks. You'll find the Ko-Fi link in the video description and the pinned comment. This simple act can become a heartfelt expression of your intention, inviting the angels to watch over your soulmate connection, surround it with divine light, and guide it as it continues to grow in the right time and in the right way. Throughout the Bible, we see that giving is more than an offering. It's a beautiful expression of faith, gratitude, and trust in God's plan. As 2 Corinthians 9 verse 7 reminds us, God loves a cheerful giver, and Luke 6 verse 38 teaches that generosity has a way of overflowing back into our lives according to God's wisdom and timing. If you feel led to do so, thank you from the bottom of my heart. May your kindness return to you multiplied, and may your soulmate journey be filled with peace, hope, and divine guidance. Let's continue with the angel message. Doing nothing is something this person can no longer accept. The quiet guilt of not acting sooner has been heavy, and the regret of staying still has felt even heavier. They no longer want to sit with this kind of emptiness, no longer want to delay, no longer want to keep telling themselves it will simply pass, because it has not been passing. The desire to act has grown stronger than the fear of what might happen next. Dear one, things feel different now than they did just days ago. Everything around this person has started to feel a little tighter, a little more urgent. Time, which once seemed to help push this feeling aside, now feels like it is asking for something with more force. There is a growing sense that if nothing changes soon, something truly important could be lost. What used to be pushed aside with small excuses has become a steady kind of discomfort. This person looks at their everyday routine and notices nothing quite fits the way it used to. That is what happens when the heart is asking for action and everything else stays still. Either something changes or life quietly slips through their fingers, because the real issue was never about circumstances. It has always been about finding the courage to decide. This inner pressure shows up in small, everyday ways too. Little delays, forgetfulness, a short temper over things that do not usually matter. And no matter how much they try to distract themselves, everything circles back to the same simple truth. What hurts most is not having you close. That absence has quietly become its own turning point. The real risk now is not about what other people might think. The real risk is in not living what there is still time to live. Continuing exactly as things are would be the same as quietly giving up on something that could be happening right now, and that understanding hurts in a way no distraction can fully soften. The hesitation that once felt like a kind of protection has slowly turned into a slow, steady kind of emotional where every day without real change adds a little more weight. This person wants to live something real and meaningful with you, but has not yet taken the steps needed to make that happen. And now the moment has arrived where the heart is asking clearly, the body is responding, and the quiet inner voice has already said everything it needs to say. The decision has to happen now, not because the world demands it, but because their own heart cannot wait any longer. Some chances do not knock twice with quite the same intensity. And even with a little fear still present, this person is beginning to understand that the fear of losing you has grown bigger than the fear of change itself. There is no comfort left in staying undecided. This is not just an ordinary choice. It is a real turning point, one that needs to happen before regret has a chance to settle in. Everything around this person seems to be pointing in one clear direction. Take action, let go of what no longer serves, and move toward what truly matters. And that direction leads to you. This is not an easy decision, but it has become a necessary one, because the weight of staying exactly as things are has grown heavier than any fear of change. With each passing day, this person feels a little closer to a real turning point, one where there is no more room to keep pushing this away. Dear one, the quiet nudges that once felt subtle now feel completely undeniable. Life is not simply suggesting anymore. It feels like it is asking directly. Every delayed choice, every swallowed word, every attempt to look past this feeling has come back around as something clear and direct. This sense of urgency is not only internal anymore. It has quietly touched their relationships, their routines, their body, and their mind. It feels like the world around them is gently pointing toward what truly matters, and you are right at the center of that. The things that once felt safe and steady have started to feel a little shaky. Nothing quite feels the same anymore, because this love no longer fits neatly into the small space it was tucked away in. Life keeps sending clear signals. Their heart cannot settle the way it used to. It is not just the memory of you that stirs something. It is the growing awareness that this connection could be lost if no real step is taken, and losing that possibility now would leave behind a kind of regret that is hard to undo. This is not just about making an ordinary choice. It is about protecting a feeling that has survived through so much already. A feeling that stayed alive despite every attempt to quiet it down. Because when you sense you might lose something meaningful, everything else naturally loses a bit of its color. This person understands they may not get another chance quite like this one, because to them, you are not just anyone. You are someone who stirs something in them that no one else quite does. Everything is becoming clearer now. What once felt confusing feels certain. There is no comfort found anywhere you are not part of. And at this point, either action happens or something meaningful risks being lost. That is the choice, and it needs to be made soon, because what feels possible today may quietly become an unspoken story tomorrow. This person does not want to carry that kind of story, does not want to watch life move forward while choosing to stay still, because that particular kind of regret rarely fades with time. This love deserves a real response, one built with honesty. Their heart is not asking for more time. It is asking for courage. The waiting has stretched long enough. The quiet warning signs have already been given. And when life speaks this clearly, you either listen or you learn the harder way. This person understands there is no more room for delay, because waiting too long often means missing out. And missing out on you is simply not something someone who finally understands your worth is willing to accept. Dear one, the decision ahead is not a simple one. Not because the love itself is in question, but because choosing to stop running means finally facing everything that has quietly piled up until now. There is fear tangled in it, along with a bit of guilt and some old insecurity. But none of that outweighs the discomfort of staying still. There comes a point where the heart speaks louder than any excuse ever could, and that point has arrived. What hurts now is knowing there is something real that could be lived with you, and it still is not being lived. This person knows time has already slipped by, and even though facing everything that still needs resolving will not be simple, more delay will not fix anything. It only adds more weight. Letting go of something that no longer fits is a kind of pain that eventually softens. But letting go of someone who feels like the love of a lifetime is a different kind of pain, one that tends to linger. This is not about rushing anything. It is about no longer running from the truth. And the truth is simple. This love is ready to be lived. This person waited for the perfect moment, the ideal setting. But now they understand that moment may never arrive exactly as imagined, because life rarely waits for everything to line up perfectly. And what stings most right now is realizing that fear has really only been postponing their own happiness. Imagining you moving forward with your life without ever knowing how they truly feel has become something hard to sit with. Because when love is real, it asks for courage. It asks for presence. It asks for genuine action. What once looked like protection has slowly started to feel more like a quiet limitation. And the key to stepping outside of it rests in their own hands. They have finally understood it is time to use it, even if the path ahead feels a little uncertain. This person no longer wants to spend their days simply imagining what could be. They want to make it real, to stop quietly aching over something that can still be lived out fully. This person wants to move into a place of decision, of honesty, of real action, and they understand they will need to face a few hard things to get there. But for what feels like the first time, they are no longer running from that idea. They are preparing for it, because the bigger fear now is letting fear itself keep them from you. Dear one, comparisons with other people, other stories, other connections have never managed to erase what exists between you two. This person tried other paths, tried filling the quiet space with distractions. But none of it ever truly measured up to what this person has always known deep down. You are not easily replaced. And that understanding is no longer just a passing memory. It is quietly reshaping how they see everything. This person realizes it was never about a lack of options. It has always been about real connection, about genuine feeling, about honesty, because no matter what new names or new conversations came along, none of them replaced what only you bring into their life. When someone's heart beats a certain way for one particular person, no other presence quite compares. The quiet absence of everything you two still have left to build has been felt even in the smallest, most ordinary moments. And that is not an exaggeration. It has simply become their emotional reality. All of this has helped this person see things more clearly. The idea of moving forward without you started to feel meaningless. What once felt important has started to matter less, because reaching certain milestones without you close by does not bring real fulfillment. It leaves behind a kind of emptiness that no achievement seems able to fill. This person is no longer searching for distraction. They are searching for something real and true, and the only truth that has continued to make sense involves you. What they feel is not a passing phase, is not simple loneliness, is not just a need for attention. It is love. It is connection. It is something woven into their life in a way nothing else has managed to undo. Their heart never fully accepted the attempts to fill that space with people who never really connected on a deeper level. And now, that quiet inner resistance has become a clear, final answer. This love does not fade easily, because it was built on something honest and real. Everything lived without your presence has only shown how deeply you are missed, not out of nostalgia, but because of something no one else has quite been able to offer. Once someone understands a connection like this is genuinely rare, there is no more settling for less, no more accepting only part of what could be whole. This person does not want to simply fill their time anymore. They want to fill their heart, and that only feels possible with you back in their life. They no longer want to pretend everything is fine while the most important thing sits quietly set aside. This feeling has been steadily taking over their thoughts, their plans, their quiet moments of reflection. Nothing else they have reached for has had the strength to replace this connection. This has helped this person understand you were never just another chapter. You are a story that is still unfolding. And denying that any longer would mean turning away from their own heart, from something that clearly holds real value to them. This person no longer wants to live split between what they feel and what they actually do. It is time to bring those two things into alignment. And that alignment begins with a real choice, one that places you at the center of it. This person wants to turn what they feel into something visible, something real, because very little makes sense to them when you feel far away. The way this person looks at life has shifted. The way they move through their days has shifted, because now there is a clear focus. Reaching you, not through empty promises, but through real, honest action. Not through pretty words alone, but through genuine presence, because you are who this person thinks of when they close their eyes and imagine everything they want to build from here forward. Dear one, the fear of losing you was never something light or easy to carry. It has always been a tender spot, something this person tried hard to avoid facing directly. What looked like protecting their own heart was really more about quietly avoiding the fear of losing something that has always sat at the center of their world. And now that fear has slowly turned into courage. This person has come to understand that the only real way to avoid losing you is to stop running. Running does not protect anyone. It only delays what feels inevitable, and what feels inevitable now is action, doing what needs to be done, finally saying the words that have stayed quietly trapped inside, going as far as it takes so this love does not stay hidden inside a tired, waiting heart. Dear friend, before we continue, I'd like to invite you to join me in a simple act of faith for your soulmate journey. If today's message stirred your heart, remember this. Even when love feels uncertain, every relationship is safest in God's hands. Instead of holding on with fear, we can choose to surround our soulmate connection with love, hope, and a sincere intention, trusting that the Lord is working behind the scenes in ways we cannot yet see. If you feel led, you can sow your seed for your soulmate through Ko-Fi Super Thanks. You'll find the Ko-Fi link in the video description and the pinned comment. Let your gift become a heartfelt intention. Lord, watch over my soulmate, heal every wound, guide every step, and let your perfect will unfold in our lives according to your perfect timing. Thank you for helping this ministry continue sharing daily messages of hope and encouragement. May God bless your kindness, fill your heart with peace, and gently guide both you and your soulmate toward the future he has prepared. The fear has not fully disappeared. It is likely still there, somewhere quiet in the background. But the courage has grown stronger, right alongside the ache of imagining you permanently absent from their life. It grew with every thought that carried your name, and now that courage has taken the lead. This person is making real choices now, shifting direction, letting go of what no longer feels aligned. This is not happening on impulse. It is happening because they can no longer sustain a life without real direction, and every direction they consider seems to lead back to you. This person is being carried forward by a steady certainty. You are someone who makes everything make sense to them. This courage arrived in the middle of exhaustion, after pretending for too long that everything was fine. Came as quiet strength, not as a reaction. And this person does not want to lose any more time, because the fear of losing you has started to matter more than any comfortable outcome that might come from staying still. The choices being made now go beyond words. They involve real, concrete change, stepping away from what no longer fits, gently closing doors on things that add nothing meaningful. Living a life split between what someone feels and what they actually do slowly becomes its own kind of quiet limitation, and that limitation is being gently broken, one step at a time, as this person moves closer to you. The idea of staying exactly where they are feels far more uncomfortable now. It is as though every choice they once avoided has found new strength, all pointing toward one simple reason: you. When someone truly understands what matters most, Everything holding them back starts to feel unnecessary, and it is being set aside with courage, with steadiness, with a genuine wish to begin again. This shift is not a small one. It is the kind of movement that comes from someone finally understanding that a feeling this real cannot stay hidden forever, because hiding it only pushes people further apart. And this person does not want to see you at a distance, not even for one more day. This love does not need justification. It needs action, born out of fear that has quietly crossed a line and turned into real movement, because waiting any longer risks something that could still be lived out fully. This person does not want to look back one day with regret. They want to look at you knowing they truly gave it everything they had. There is little use looking back at how things could have gone differently. That chapter is over. Now it is about going after it fully, about holding on to love and not letting it slip further away, because it has already been postponed too long, already been quietly set behind priorities that never truly mattered as much. And that is exactly why this person is ready to face any discomfort, as long as it means truly having you close. The fear of failing has been outweighed by the fear of never even trying. The fear of making mistakes has been outweighed by the understanding that the real mistake would be leaving this love stuck any longer. This courage did not appear out of nowhere. It was built slowly, through the hardest days, through the quiet seconds when your name kept returning to their thoughts. Now, everything feels directed toward reaching you not by chance, but through real choice. This person has decided they do not want a lukewarm life, do not want to carry the quiet weight of having stayed silent. And they are ready to face whatever comes with that choice, because no discomfort compares to the discomfort of never having truly tried. This courage is what has the power to change everything. It softens fear and opens the door to a genuinely new chance, and that chance is being built now, one honest step at a time. Dear one, there are moments life gently pushes us toward, simply so we can finally see we cannot keep living the same way. And this connection has reached exactly that kind of moment. It is no longer about waiting or trying to understand everything perfectly. Now it is about moving forward with courage or living with the quiet weight of never having tried. This person has reached that turning point, the kind of moment where everything becomes clearer, where they either step forward with courage or risk missing something that may never come around again in quite the same way. What has been lived can no longer hold the weight of so much hesitation, so much distance, so much feeling kept quietly tucked away. This person has come to realize they risk losing what they care about most because of fear, because of pride, because of small insecurities that no longer hold up against a feeling that keeps growing stronger by the day. Their heart cannot stay divided any longer. They cannot keep pretending distractions are enough, when none of it truly reaches them the way you do. Their mind cannot quite look away from this truth anymore, and that truth feels simple. Either they live this love or they carry its weight for a long time to come. Leaving things exactly as they are will come with its own quiet cost. Empty nights, a half-lived kind of life, a lingering ache that does not fully go away even when everything on the outside looks fine. This person is tired of pretending they can simply live without you. They tried and it did not work. Now they are standing at a choice that can no longer wait. Reaching this point took time. There was inner conflict, some confusion, a few attempts to go in other directions. But now there really is no other direction that feels right. There is only you. And what this person wants most is the chance to bring this love into real, everyday life, into something honest and lasting, without more delay, without more excuses, without more fear. What this person feels for you no longer fits quietly inside their thoughts. It is spilling into their actions, their decisions, their willingness to step away from what no longer belongs, and a kind of courage that was not always there before. Understanding you are the right choice is different from actually living as though you are, and now it feels like time to truly live that out, to stop imagining and start building with everything they have. This person knows they cannot control how you might respond, but they also know they cannot keep you unaware of what has been happening quietly inside them, because if they do not step forward now, they will carry the regret of not having tried. That is why real movement feels close now, not to test anything, but simply to honor what they truly feel. Take a quick second before we move forward. Many channels are reposting and copying our content, but authentic energy cannot be duplicated. For the strongest positive connection and divine guidance, always listen from the original angel's message for you channel with the black logo base. Now, let's continue with the message your angels want you to hear. This shift is showing up in other areas of life too, in relationships, in plans, in paths that are quietly being left behind. Once life reveals what truly matters, everything else naturally takes a smaller place. And right now, nothing feels more important than showing you that this love never really ended. It was simply paused, and now it feels ready to be lived. This person does not want to lose you to doubt or to time or to a lack of action. They want to reach you with the honesty they have been carrying quietly for so long, and that honesty is no longer staying hidden. It is becoming a real plan, a real decision, a real step forward, because staying still would be one of the harder mistakes to live with. Any hesitation is settling behind them now. What matters is following the one direction that truly makes sense. This person is placing you first, and no longer wants a future that does not include you. They are ready to face what feels difficult, because to them, difficult is living without you. The shift has already begun, and what follows will show you that in a way you may not expect. Dear one, this decision was not made lightly, and it was not rushed. It is the result of everything this person has quietly lived through until now. What once felt uncertain now feels clear. There is no more hiding this away as though it were something ordinary. It never was. The honest truth is that this love never lost its strength. It never stopped making sense or feeling alive. Pretending otherwise became its own kind of burden. And now this person has chosen the path they feel they should have taken sooner. The path that leads back to you with courage, with presence, and with real emotional honesty. What comes next will not simply be words. This person is preparing to answer everything they feel with real, concrete action, because this has never only been about expressing love. It is about changing whatever needs to change to live this love fully, letting go of what no longer serves, closing certain chapters, opening space for something new. Only then will they be able to build something real with you without old interference, without lingering doubts. This decision is no longer just an idea. It has become a plan already quietly in motion, and every step this person takes from here will carry your name as its quiet motivation. You are being placed as the priority, and there is no more room left for distraction, hesitation, excuses, or fear. Life asked for a choice, and the choice became you. Now, everything that once felt stuck is beginning to loosen. This person is taking a stand, shifting habits, making harder decisions, because they have finally understood that staying in the same place would feel too close to giving up on you. And that is something they are no longer willing to accept. If you pay close attention, dear one, you may start to notice something different unfolding. Through words, through the way someone looks at you, through actions that had not shown up before. Because feeling something deeply is not quite enough on its own. It has to be shown clearly, honestly, steadily, not to create pressure, but simply to show that what they feel cannot keep being pushed into a future that never quite arrives. The waiting has stretched on long enough, and everything quietly held inside has turned into real urgency. Not the panicked kind, but the grounded kind that comes from someone who understands life keeps moving, and some connections are simply too rare to let slip away. That is part of why this person is willing to try, even knowing there is a chance of hearing no, because to them, something worse than hearing no would be never trying at all. So stay open, dear one, because what unfolds next may feel like the beginning of a new chapter, one that could have started sooner, but now has every chance to unfold in an even more beautiful way. Before we close this moment together, take a slow breath. Let your shoulders soften. Whatever you came into this message carrying, you can set a little of it down right now. You are not behind. You are not too much. You are not too late. Everything meant for you is still finding its way to you, in its own timing, in its own gentle way. If these words touched something real in you, dear one, let it settle in quietly. Trust the timing of your own life. You are cared for, guided, and never truly alone on this path. May you feel peace today. May you feel steady, even in the waiting. May your heart soften just enough to receive good things without fear. Carry that with you as you go, dear one, and know that you are held. Dear beautiful soul, this angel's message for you channel is a sacred spiritual home, created for faith, healing, and divine guidance. A place where hearts awaken and lives are gently transformed through divine messages. We warmly invite you to subscribe and stay connected, because the divine is always preparing something greater for your journey, something you are meant to receive in divine timing. If you feel moved to support this mission, you can sow your seed here for your soulmate blessings and divine love fulfillment. Your contribution is not just support. It is an energetic agreement with love, healing, and divine alignment in your own life. When you give with intention, it opens doors. Love flows more freely, happiness expands, and abundance multiplies in unexpected ways. Many believe that giving in faith activates a return of peace, joy, and emotional fulfillment in relationships and life. Whether it is $11, $22, $33, or $55, your generosity helps us continue spreading these divine messages of hope, healing, and soulmate guidance across the world. Every seed sown into this mission helps hearts heal, faith return, and souls reconnect with love. This is more than a channel. It is a movement of light, unity, and divine timing. Your support allows this sacred work to grow, touching lives that are searching for answers, comfort, and spiritual direction. We are all connected in this journey, and together we rise as one community under divine love. Let us open our hearts to the abundance that is already on its way. Amen.